I'm Tim Renshaw. I'm Chief Executive Officer of the Cathedral Archer Project, which is a homeless day centre based in Sheffield Cathedral. The project was started around 1990. Principally, it's because they noticed homeless people using the cathedral as a shelter and offered them a breakfast to start off with. And once the breakfast was going and they started speaking to people who were from the homeless community, they realised there was much more involved than simply offering food and shelter. So the project started to grow. Some people might say it's upstairs, downstairs, because the cathedral's built on a hill and the top of it is the nave, the quietness, the calmness, the place of order, the place of sanctuary, and then down the hill is the project. And that's a place which has a very different feel, but really it's only separated by two doors. And so you can go from the sense of calmness, the sense of stone, into a place that's a cafe, an art class, a place where people are waiting to see the nurse or the dentist, a place where people are having discussions, arguments, playing Wii Fit or doing gardening or so on. So there's a wonderful feel about the place. It's a relatively new building, so the facilities are good, and yet it feels a very busy building at times, very well used building, and there's a joy in that. The church should be well used. It's noticeable that with issues like homelessness, the church and faith groups have largely led the way in leading services. So there's a long tradition of the church reaching out, and that's quite what it should be. I think when we look at ourselves and think of ourselves as a group of people who simply come to worship and get on with our lives, then we've lost the plot. When we see ourselves integrated fully in our communities and societies and taking care of those people who don't think they fit or for some reason are experiencing circumstances in life which make life just so difficult and almost unbearable. When we're doing that, then we're living life to the full and appreciating those in our communities who are trying to do the same but need support to do so. The homeless community is not a nice community in some ways. I mean, we're dealing with people who are struggling to survive, people who have been involved maybe in crime, people who have been involved in drugs, people who have been involved in alcohol, people who feel as though they don't belong because they're immigrants and so on. And so there's lots of struggles within that sort of community. However, it's still about people, and people in life tend to be really wonderful, and that's true with people in homelessness as well. So you can come and sit in our centre and talk to people and hear some fantastic stories, some great stories, hear the humour, hear the support. One person who joined in the football on the front of the cathedral forecourt when the Olympics was on and we were pushing sport, slightly inebriated at the time, never lost the ball, and amazed those people around him. He's also a person who in his own way cares for other street drinkers. Homelessness affects every area of society, so people do become homeless from well-paid jobs, from having good homes. However, most people who are caught in homelessness still come from poor backgrounds where they've left school early, backgrounds where in their teenage years they've been felt rejected and got caught in things like crime or drugs or drinking. So it's important for us to realise some of the backgrounds people come from, and the fact that it's not straightforward to say if they had made better decisions with their lives, if they had done this, if they had done that, if they had been pretty much like me, which is what we're really saying, then they wouldn't have become homeless. One of my drivers is the fact that if I look at some of the mistakes I've made, some of the people I've hurt, some of the people I've rejected, some of the jobs that I didn't do and should have done, then I'm not a blameless person and I'm full of all sorts of mistakes. And it's very difficult then to turn to other people who are making mistakes and say, you've got it so wrong, I can't deal with you. I have to deal with you. You're very much like me, and that's part of the driver really for reaching out.